there! Welcome to my channel, Emily Eats Veggies. Next week is American Thanksgiving, which, if you're not from the United States, is a pretty big deal. It's a very popular holiday to gather with your family and just have a day off and eat lots of food and be thankful for all the good things in your life. This year, I've been invited to 4 different Thanksgivings. Yeah, it seems like other American expatriates just want to make sure that every American has a chance to celebrate the holiday. One of the funny things though is it's not a holiday here in Spain where I live, so people still have to work that day. So my colleagues and I, who are mostly Americans, we're going to be celebrating on the holiday itself, which is on a Thursday. But I've also been invited to a party on Tuesday, a party on Friday, and another party on Saturday, all with Americans present. But one of the other great things is it's also an opportunity to share part of our culture and what we love about being Americans with other people. So normally these parties are not exclusive to Americans, and we invite other people to come as well. So holidays can be a little tricky if you're a vegetarian or vegan though. As you might imagine, meat is very popular as a holiday dish. So for Thanksgiving, typically people will eat turkey. That's what Thanksgiving is known for. People even call it Turkey Day. If you don't have a turkey, it's not really Thanksgiving. And there's people who they don't even like the taste of turkey, but they will still have it because it's traditional. Vegans and vegetarians don't eat turkey, so that makes things a little complicated. Especially if that's the only main protein source at the table. For these parties that I'm going to be going to, I want to make sure that I bring a dish that is a substantial protein source for me, so that I'm not just living off of carbs for the next week. I also want to bring something that is going to be interesting to people who are not vegetarians and maybe something they would like to try. So what I found is a Thanksgiving meatless loaf. Kind of like a meatloaf, but not. It's made to be gluten-free, and you can also make it soy-free so that other people can share and enjoy this dish as well, even if they have certain allergies. The recipe seems simple enough. Anybody can make this. What I'm more curious to see is it something that's going to be appetizing enough that even non-veggies are going to enjoy? Like, would someone who typically eats meat still enjoy this dish, even though it's not made with meat? I'm going to prepare a test loaf just to see how it turns out, and if it's any good, then I'll probably be making it again to take to these parties. But because this recipe requires a lot of spices and different ingredients to add flavor, I'm gonna have to make a run to the grocery store and also a bulk shop where I can get some bulk spices. I think I have most of the ingredients already. I just have to pick up a few things and then we'll get started. Bye! it's Saturday night. I have not tried the bean loaf quite yet. I'm not sure what happened. You're supposed to bake the bean loaf until it's kind of dry and firm on the inside. But for some reason, mine still has the texture more of mashed sweet potato, or just mashed potato for that matter. So I tried to put it back in the oven just as the oven was cooling down. It was still warm, let it cook a little bit longer. The recipe actually says that you should cover it halfway through with aluminum foil, but I'm wondering whether there just was too much moisture in the loaf. So that could have been a reason why it still is soft on the inside. So I haven't tried it quite yet, but at this point I've just run out of time. I'm getting ready to go out. I'm going to a friend's birthday party tonight, so I can't stay home baking this Thanksgiving loaf for much longer. Hopefully tomorrow I can figure out what went wrong and maybe finish cooking this bean loaf. I don't know, we'll see. I'm a little bit skeptical at this point. It smells great, but it might turn out just being more like mashed potatoes than anything else. Not so much of a loaf. Sorry, guys. Hey there. I began filming this video on Saturday. It is now Monday night. As I mentioned, I went to a birthday party on Saturday night. I got home really late after the party. On Sunday, I was busy. Went to church in the morning, and then I had plans later in the day. So, and of course, I had work today, Monday. So it is now Monday night, and I have still not tried my Thanksgiving bean loaf. I did adapt the recipe a little bit, changed a few things. I decided I wanted to make it soy-free, just in case anyone at these parties I'm going to are soy intolerant or have a soy allergy. But I adapted the recipe a little bit, which is what I tend to do with most recipes that I find. And when I took it out of the oven after leaving it in there for the appropriate amount of time, it still seemed a little soft, like not quite done, at least not the way that the recipe described it, and it didn't look like the photos either. It seemed to have more of a mashed potato consistency. So on Sunday morning, before going to church, I decided to put it in the oven again and see if I could maybe dry it out, because it still had a lot of moisture. And I didn't want it to just be a basically baked mashed potatoes, because texture is pretty important as well with any recipe. And I wanted to make sure that this recipe turned out well. So I tried putting it in the oven again, so baking it for the second time. But by the time I had to leave, it still didn't quite seem dry enough. But I didn't have any extra time that I could keep cooking it. I've been waiting until I had an opportunity to film my reaction. I'm going to try the Thanksgiving bean loaf for the first time on camera. Okay, so I've warmed up a little slice here. You can see it. Like I said, it still looks very soft in the middle. It's got a nice crunchy exterior, but the middle's pretty soft. You can see like the indents of the fork there. Over time, it also seemed to condense, so that's why it looks so short. Like it kind of lost some of its height there. Yeah, but it smells wonderful. You can definitely just tell all these herbs. It smells really good. So let's give it a try. I don't know, it could be absolutely repulsive. Well, it's got really good flavor, that's for sure. but kind of like what I expected. It has the consistency of mashed potatoes, basically. Which really, I mean, the bulk of this is just pureed mashed sweet potato and white beans, so that makes sense. The original recipe said that you could also use tofu, so it said you could use either tofu or substitute the tofu for more white beans. I think with tofu that might absorb more of the liquid and give it a drier texture, so it doesn't just seem like mashed potatoes. But besides the texture, the flavor's great. If you want to try the recipe for yourself, maybe play with it a little bit, adapt it to what you like, what your preferences are. I'll leave the link to the original recipe below in the description, the video description. My takeaway is, personally, when I first read the recipe, I thought it would be a little bit simpler and less time consuming. Of course, I knew it was still going to take more time than I'm used to making dishes, but it was a lot more effort than I was fully expecting. So that, coupled with not coming out quite the way I had hoped, I'm not planning on making this for any of the Thanksgiving parties that I'm going to this week. But that's fine. It's just trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, again and again and again, until you find what you like. So, you know, maybe this recipe works for some people. For me, I think it's a pass. But it was worth a try. So, I'm actually going to a party Tuesday, tomorrow, and I've decided I'm going to make a wild mushroom risotto. So that's a recipe that I'm familiar with. I've done it in the past. It's not too time consuming or a lot of effort. And it's easy to make a lot of it. So this particular party, there's gonna be a lot of people there. So I wanna make sure I bring enough. All right, so that's the end of this video. Thanks for giving it a watch. Bye.